My name is Kenny Boshier, candidate in the Student Development and Leadership Program at Angelo State University. Today I'm going to be discussing two types of leadership theories, charismatic leadership and relational leadership, by comparing and contrasting their elements to show how each trait is significant within the leadership role. Let's start with charismatic leadership. We will want to begin by defining charisma. What role does one inhabiting charisma play in the specific style of leadership? Well, according to an article written on charismatic leadership by Sy, Horton, and Riggio, it is values-based, symbolic, emotion-laden leader signaling. Charisma can be influenced by one's emotions, positive or negative, even happiness or sadness. Emotions are highly influenced in charismatic leadership as it sets the dynamic for how the leader will approach and lead his or her team. Charismatic leaders have a way of using their emotions to communicate their own ideas and processes, helpful to achieve institutional goals or missions. One of the lasting emotions that these leaders possess is moral emotions. Research shows that moral emotions are often prompted by disinterested elicitors, simply meaning that the prompt at hand does not provide any interest to the leader, encompassing disinterest. Charismatic leaders tend to use this type of emotion as a guiding force in their leadership style. Now that we know a little about charismatic leadership, let's move on and discuss relational leadership and how it impacts leading style. As you might have guessed, relational leadership is the relationship between the leader and his or her followers. How does this type of leadership work with relational thinkers in understanding the role of the leader and the follower? Through different areas of research by Wood and Dibben, we come to understand that relational leadership does not, in fact, allow itself the feeling of personal experience in regards to a certain topic. Leaders, in turn, become synonymous with followers and encompass a certain feeling in regards to a certain event. Now that we have examined both leadership styles separately, let's see if there are any similarities in leadership styles. I think one of the more clearer observations is that these two leadership styles develop a relationship with their followers. Although they are carried out differently in their approach, I think it's fair to say that there is some kind of relationship. Another similarity is that these two styles encompass feeling and emotion. Charismatic leadership displays the emotions on a much higher level at all times, while relational leaders adapt to current situations. While relational leadership doesn't focus on the emotions as a whole, adapting to situations as they arise can cause a change in emotion. How are these leadership styles practiced today? A charismatic leader is going to run with those emotions. One would be able to tell if their leader's supervisor leads in this way. My boss, for instance, is one who can function this way as she leads with her emotions. A lot of times her impact on the office and our desire to be better followers is because of the energy and excitement that she exudes throughout the office. There's not one single circumstance that she adheres to in changing her mood. It's a constant, successful persona that allows for a positive dynamic in the office. A relational leader, on the other hand, will adapt as needed. Say, for instance, if there is a timeline for a project that is handed down by the administration, given a deadline and certain criteria. How does this type of leader respond? Well, together with his or her staff, they will come together and focus on the task at hand, and the leading style will adapt as needed during the completion of this project. So as we've seen, these are just two leadership theories among many that define our leaders. I think it's important that we, as professional staff, are able to understand the theories and how they can impact the office. Emotional intelligence can even come into play as we learn to adapt to each other's working style. Thank you for your time and attention today as I discuss these two leadership theories.